I'm here in Switzerland at a secret location. I can't tell you where I am, but this place is called the Carrera collection. The name does give it away. There's a lot of Porsches in this bunker, and this entire collection, well, this room alone is worth around $17 million, and that's just half of what's going under the hammer with RM Sotheby's. The whole collection is for sale with no reserve, which means that every car in here will sell. And there's some amazing stuff in here. And yes, there's the odd Ferrari, there's a few Lancias, some Mercedes and other exotica, but mostly this room is full of amazing Porsches. Behold! Yes, come on! This car brings back some memories. This is a Porsche 993 GT2 spec race car. This one campaigned in FIA GT in the late 2000s. Everything's super light, and if you look inside this, there's just totally nothing in there. It's a completely Spartan cabin, no creature comforts. It's all about weight saving, but you've got your fuel dump churn in here, all these different racing mods, pull you out of the gravel, splitters for high-speed aerodynamics. But this car still pumps out 500 horsepower. It's got a modified engine that was originally 3.6 litre, modified up to 3.8 litre turbocharged with a manual 6-speed gear shift. And it's a really aggressive racing car. Whoever buys this will do some restoration on it, fix out this engine. It'll need to be rebooted to be brought back to life. But this is a really visceral experience to drive. And you've got this huge whale tail, unmissable. This car is a real icon. It's very recognizable from Le Mans racing and from GT. And it's a thing of beauty, definitely worth the investment. Come and look at this. This is a special car. It's an absolutely mint condition, last iteration of the Porsche 930 Turbo 1989. And that means in this case it's got 5-speed gearbox, which is fantastic driving across the Alps because you've got those shorter gear ratios instead of the long ratio 4-speed gearbox. And if you look inside, at just 390 miles from new, the interior is absolutely immaculate. It's practically as it rolled out of the factory all those years ago. Very, very special machine. And just happened to have in my pocket a little tester that shows you that the paintwork is original, because with Porsche, they were very specific, very thin paint, and according to Porsche, it should have less than 200 microns thickness, which as you can see is correct, which means this car has not been damaged or repainted. Useful machine, I always keep it handy. Now these two are extremely rare. 911 Speedsters, narrow body, only 171 were made in that specification. Other 1943 with the wide tail that you get from a Porsche Turbo. That styling is really unique, makes them extremely rare and desirable. Also fantastic for getting down a tight lane or into a small garage. So these have got lots of charm, personality, and they're very different to the other 911s of the day, with these slender windscreens and this sort of hump at the back that makes it really distinctive. And inside this one, it's only done 7,000 kilometers, less than 7,000 kilometers. You can really see that in the trim, which looks pretty much as it came out of the factory. It's a beautiful example, tons of fun, manual gearbox, analog driving, the way it should be. BMW Z8, which everybody knows from the Bond movie. Pierce Brosnan in The World Is Not Enough, hammering around in this lovely car. I'm a big fan of the Z3, wicked little machine, really short wheelbase, zooming in and out of roundabouts. The Z4, slightly more placid, but you've still got that lovely BMW rumble coming from under the hood. And then you've got the Z8 with a 5-litre V8 engine from the M5 and the running gear to go with it. A real little monster. And this fantastic roadster's got loads of power, and you just get all the benefits of being in a BMW with your hair in the breeze, having a lot of fun. Manual gearbox, really authentic and cool. And there are 4 of these Z8s in the Carrera collection, so you can take your pick. This one's had the Alpina treatment, and there's 2 others in black. So there's lots to see here. All right, now let's go and have a look at this side. There. Now this one, it's not just special to me, this is special to Porsche themselves, because this is the first car since the 70s that they gave the RS badge to, the Rennsport, which means this car's got racing pedigree in its veins. And I just love the way they went about it, because these days RS means lighter but also more power. Back then, Porsche just threw everything at lightening the car. So this one weighs in at about 1100 kilograms, and you can just feel everything you open, from the door to the hood, is just so light to the touch. And everything on this car is original. All the body numbers match. So from the tail to the hood, even the carpet in the footwell is a matching number to the body. So everything on this car checks out and is fully original. Look at that. And this stuff's important. And this car is quite special. Something else about this, whoever spec'd this car originally knew what they were doing, because they've also built in, God, this is so light, more weight saving. Look at this. Look at this little stray here. Gosh, I'll be so careful with that. It's so lightweight, you can bend it really easily. Optional extra, roll bar installed. And when you look inside here, you can see that this car is built to go around the Nürburgring. Fuel tank fully strapped down and everything is in the right place. It's a fully spec car. And if you're worried about missing out, don't worry, there are 2 other of these RS cars, 964s in the collection. So it's not this one, there are 2 more to bid on. Now this is more the era that I know from Top Gear, the GT3 RS, based on the 996 model of the 911, and their wicked bits of kit. These things are really built for the track, naturally aspirated, high revving, shouty engine, really fun and surgically precise to drive, slightly antisocial. You can't put passengers in the back because of the roll cage, but it's a really focused bit of kit. Always with Porsche, the thing was that the engine's behind you and that weight across the rear of the axle can make the car float around. And with this car, they had that really buttoned down. So Porsche really worked on the suspension to control that weight transfer so that the driver could manipulate it through the corner using small touches with the throttle. I was always a big fan of this one. And if you are really spotting for the value between these two, the blue car is slightly rarer than the red one, probably demands a higher price. Both fantastic. So from one extreme to the other, back to the 90s. So the 964 Carrera 4 Target Edition. So you can remove the roof, get a suntan. And this is a beautiful daily driver. You can pick up this classic for an entry-level price in a great specification. Black on black. Drive it away, enjoy it, make the most of it. Carefree car. So it's not just Porsches in this collection, there's some really interesting things next door. There's a couple of Mercedes 190 SLs, there's an SLR Roadster in the corner here, a 280 SL Pagoda, a 500 SL factory test car that's really quite interesting, and there's 2 original Corvettes and a bunch of other really interesting stuff. I've also got my eye on a Camaro. And then the gem of the collection, which is in Italy, is the 993 Turbo S. Literally the first Turbo S to ever exist, because it was the first one to roll out the factory. It was the homologation car, the press car, so it was spec'd out of its eyeballs, a total unicorn, super exciting, and not surprising that already the interest on that car is through the roof. I was just poking around in the corner and came across this little beauty, the 996 GT2 Club Sport, and I looked inside, it's only got 600 kilometers on the clock. That's ridiculous. And the guide price on this is 90K. I'm gonna be fascinated to see what this goes for, because there's a lot of value trapped inside this. There's a lot of performance in this car. Yeah, I really can't wait. That's gonna pop when it goes for sale. Now this is an interesting car in Porsche history, because there was a moment in time when Porsche were going to delete the manual gearbox and go all paddle shift. There was an outcry from Porsche enthusiasts, and the 911R was the answer to that. And this car went back to Porsche's roots, being a driver's car for the road. Naturally aspirated 4-litre engine with 500 brake horsepower, 6-speed manual gearbox, and the interior is fantastic with these houndstooth seat inserts and this really striking livery that made it stand out from the crowd. Only 991 of these models was made. There's a plaque inside to commemorate each one that they built. And this was the foundation. The success of this car led to the GT3 Touring, which is probably a little bit more famous than this one. But this is a really important car in Porsche history, and this one only has delivery miles on it, so super low mileage, an exciting car. This is a beautiful old car, the 356 Carrera 2 with a 1.6 litre engine, 4-cam. This was the mini racing car of the road. They put a racing engine in this to give it as much power as possible in a lightweight chassis. Really delicate handling, and this car has been fully restored. You can actually see how much work and attention and love has gone into bringing this thing back. And just love these old school cars. You can really see how the suspension was put together, how it all worked, and a lot of TLC to bring this car back to its glory days. So that's a sample of the Carrera collection. If you're interested in bidding on one of these cars, click here to get more information from the RM Sotheby's website. Remember, the sale is split into 2 sections. Part 1 in Switzerland that starts on July the 7th and Part 2 in Italy on July the 12th. Happy bidding and good luck. There's no reserve on these, so all these cars will be sold.